Okay, Lamar's going to throw the ball in over to Devin Williams. Devin Williams over to Michael Manette. Michael looks over to Devin. Devin fakes a little bit, shake and bake. Here we go. Oh! Devin Williams! Oh my goodness! Hello everybody, welcome back to New Mexico is a Basketball State podcast, hosted by me, Russell Lee Gurule. It is great to be back. I thank you all for joining me today. We're going to have an exciting show today. I'm going to do my 5A and 4A top 5 team picks. And in my last or second to last take, we'll see how it works out. I'm going to go ahead and do a top 5 player ranking. Yes, I do rankings here and they matter to me. So I'm going to bring those out too. So this is going to get really exciting. Not too much has happened since the last show, which was a great one with Andres Trujillo of the New Mexico Runners. Definitely check them out. But now we're going to go into high school basketball. The leaves are falling and it's getting a little bit more cold. And you know what time it is. It's high school basketball. It's going to start here on the 21st. I believe one of the big games that's going to definitely start is El Dorado versus Carlsbad. So that should be exciting. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to take a deep breath. We're going to go fast and furious here. So I'm going to start with the 4A team predictions, okay? 1 through 5. My first one is at number 1, Highland Hornets. Yes, I am expecting the Highland Hornets. I'm predicting the Highland Hornets to repeat as state champions. Now, they may not have Jose Murillo back this season. He's graduated and moved on to Eastern New Mexico. But they do have Alexis Dominguez, the top point guard in the state, in my opinion. I think he is. He's definitely very steady, and he runs that offense very well, shoots from outside very well, runs the fast break. He gets to the hole, and he's really good at taking good shots. He doesn't take anything crazy, and he runs a good offense. Plus, they got a great defense. Most of their points are going to come from outside this season instead of Jose last season. They got a lot of really good shooters coming up. They have Fernando Hernandez in the paint, who's really tough, who's shown that he's definitely going to try to, hold people down in the paint. He's going to be a catalyst for them for sure. So head coach Justin Woody has a nice thing going over there. They've got some young players coming up, Ish Herrera, Jose Lecon. I hope that I'm pronouncing her names right. These guys can shoot from outside for sure. Brandon Medina, Sergio. These guys are going to be a team this year. It's going to be a team effort for Highland. It's not going to be easy, and it could look a little scary for them coming this season, especially during district play. But I'm picking them at number 1. So let's move on to number 2. St. Pius X Sartans. The Sartans are a team that has really developed over the last 2 years. They have really shown that they can be very competitive. In fact, they were very close to the state final last year. But this year, they have Brandon Kolb at 6'8", and he's a very solid guy outside and inside. He's going to be a key catalyst for them. They also play some pretty tough defense. From what I understand, they won the team camp at Texas Tech this summer, so they looked really solid. So that's really exciting there. And we should expect the Sartans to be very competitive this year and possibly make a run for the state championship. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, they have had some key losses, but we'll see who steps up. I have confidence in them because they've built a program there. Head coach Ryan Mayers, is doing some really nice things there. So St. Pius fans, you should be excited for this season. And I think that they're going to be very competitive this year. So let's move on to number 3. Deming. Yes, shocker, right? Deming. Deming has moved down from 5A to 4A, and they had a really nice season last year in 5A. The key that really is important for them is Alex Alfaro at 6'4". Alex averaged a double-double last year, 15 points and 12 rebounds. And he was a very solid player, really impressed me. And so I think they're going to ride his coattails, and I think they're going to be able to be more competitive in 4A now that they've moved down. See, they played in the same district as Mayfield, Las Cruces, Cruces, Alamogordo, and those schools. And so it was a little bit tougher. But now they're moving down the 4A, and their only district rival is Silver, who's a very nice team that has done well even last year. So I expect them to really make some waves in 4A and be a challenger this season. So I'm really excited about them and seeing what head coach Longoria does with that team. So they're definitely a team to watch in southern New Mexico. Now, let's go to number 4. Albuquerque Academy. Albuquerque Academy, I think, is going to be another solid team that had a great year last year. In fact, I believe they played St. Pius in the state tournament. Again, I shoot from the hip when I do these. So the thing is with Albuquerque Academy, they've shown toughness and grit, and they're very aggressive on defense, and I really like that. Plus, they have Joe Jack, Kellen Gires, who should be coming back from injury, I hope. And I think they're going to be a very solid team this year. And I think they're going to be very aggressive as far as their district is concerned. I expect them to be in the state tournament along with St. Pius and the others. And I expect them to be there in the hunt for possibly a state championship final. That's how good these guys are. They're just a team that sticks together. And Joe Jack's a really nice player to watch. So you definitely want to check out the Chargers. Now, let's go to number 5, Del Norte. Del Norte is a team that, frankly, has lost a lot. Let's be honest. They've lost Harrison Frank to the Preps, and they've lost also Judah Casas to the Preps. But they have a really great player in Shane Doma Sanchez. And when I saw them this summer, they looked really solid on the defensive end. They looked really tough. They got a lot of young players, but this is the thing about them. They have a really nice program going. They've been to 2 state championship finals with head coach Jaron McIntosh. So these guys are a type of team that I expect to go back and fight through adversity and get to the top again. With Shane Doma Sanchez, anything can happen. I mean, he's one guy that I think is going to carry the load, kind of like Deming with Alex Alfaro. So this is the thing with them. If Shane can go all the way and they find another scorer to complement him, a few other players to play their roles, the Knights could be definitely in there in the hunt for a state championship final. Now, there's other teams too that, moving from the top 5 there's other teams too that could make a run, and that's Artesia, Lovington, Julian Arroyo, Nick Sanchez of Artesia. These are teams that are intriguing. I just didn't have enough questions answered to put them in the top 5. There's also others like Valley that has an intriguing lineup, and we'll see how they improve. There's still a lot of unknowns going on as far as 4A is concerned. And, when you think about it, everybody's an unknown when you come down to it, but do they have enough? And these 5, I think, have enough to really make good runs towards the state championship final, but a lot has to come into play, and that's what preseason's all about. It's just a prediction, and definitely, by the end of the year, it could be completely different because things happen during the season. So with that, let me give you the player of the year for 4A. I'm going to go with Shane Doma Sanchez. I think he's just going to dominate this year, 25 points a game, possibly 30 points a game. I think that's what's going to happen. I just feel it. He just has next level college skill. That's what he's showing, and it's just a matter of what he does and how he does it. And we're going to enjoy watching him for sure play this season. Now, for the coach of the year in 4A, I'm going to go with Ryan Mayers of St. Pius X. I think he's going to really get that team going some more. And we're definitely going to really talk about these guys during the season. And he's going to definitely deserve it because I've watched him through the Let Them Play season on into last season and this year. And they've surprised a lot of folks. And they're not going to surprise anybody this year. But I think they're going to get to that next level. So we'll see what happens. But I'm picking Ryan Mayers as head coach of the year for 4A. Now... You see, you got to go fast. Now we're going to go to 5A, my top 5 team picks. This was a lot tougher because there's a lot of really good teams in 5A, and it looks to be evenly matched across the board. And a lot of things happen, transfers, injuries, coaches leaving, new coaches, things like that. So this was kind of tough, but my first pick was not that tough. My first pick is number 1, Volcano Vista. I just think they're going to repeat. They're showing the great mojo, the momentum. They move the ball around really well. You got Kenyon Agueno. You have Sean Alter, the duel that's going to score a lot of points. Sean Alter's already looking like a collegiate man right now in the paint, and he's going to be very, very tough to guard. And then when you have Kenyon Agueno, who can run the break, who can shoot outside, who can get inside, and with the way they move the ball, he's going to get open a lot. They also have some nice guards coming up. They have Hudson Brown at the point guard, who looks like he's going to be very capable to run that team and take over for Oscar McCoy. They also have David Gutierrez, who I think is going to be an exciting guard that's going to start making some waves. And a lot of people are going to take notice of him, and they're going to start talking about him. So with that, I see that team doing it, and I think head coach Greg Brown is got a really good thing going there at Volcano Vista. And I don't know about going undefeated this year. I don't know about that, but they look awfully tough to beat, and because the matchup problems are there for other teams against this team. So it's going to be pretty difficult. So let's move on to number 2, Atrisco. Atrisco, I look at them and they're just fast. They have guards. They can shoot. If they go on a fast break, they're going to be really tough to beat. It looks like they're going to be a really tough team to defend because they got really good guards. You have Chris Parra, and then you have Latavius Morris, who plays football, who's a great athlete, and these guys look like they can go inside, outside, shoot, inside, outside. They're going to be very tough to defend when both are on the floor. Then you have Marquise Renfro, who's very difficult, very active, very excitable, and I think he's going to be one of those catalyst players for them. And you have Tony Pacheco, who's very steady. And they always have somebody new coming up on the scene. So it's going to be exciting to see Atrisco play this season. I think they'll be able to overcome a lot of people because of those matchup problems at the guards. So head coach Steve Heredia, who took over for Adrian Ortega, who's now APS athletic director, is going to have his first full year because he took over towards the end of last season, and he was able to get them to the semifinal of the state tournament, and they were very good in the state tournament. They really turned it around after a rough, difficult season. So we'll see how he does in his first full season. So it's exciting over there at Atrisco over there on the west side. So we'll see what happens there. But I like them a lot. Now let's go to number 3 while I lose my voice because there's a lot here to cover. Number 3, Carlsbad. Yeah, I picked Carlsbad, and the main reason why is Damian Perez, a 6'5", a point guard who can do everything, get to the hole, throw it down, shoot outside from 30, 40 feet. I mean, this guy can do it all, and he's going to be a very exciting player to watch for everybody this season. You definitely want to keep an eye on him. They also have Devin McWright, who's a really nice player that gets to the hole himself, and he's a very aggressive player. They look to be a lot smarter basketball IQ-wise this season than they were last year. They don't make nearly as many mistakes. That's one thing I noticed about them in summer. They also have Taylor Gonzalez, who's in the center position at 6'7". He's going to be a really, really big force for them because they're going to need that. Any team that wants to win state needs a big man for sure. And he's going to fill that for them. But I picked them because they have Damian Perez, and he's definitely somebody that maybe not gets enough attention, but there are schools looking at him, and he's potentially a D1 player, maybe low major D1 player. I mean, there are people looking at him, and he's definitely somebody you got to check out, especially when Carlsbad comes to the metro area. You got to get out there and check him out. So it's going to be really exciting to see what the Cavemen do. And I picked them as number 3. Now, number 4. Number 4, I'm excited about this group. I call them El Dorado. El Dorado. And they are El Dorado. They have three players that are very intriguing to me that I think are going to be great components, and they're going to they're going to be a big mismatch problem. They have Caleb Parham, who's very athletic, do everything, throw it down, shoot from the outside, mid-range game. He's going to be a highlight film for a lot of people to watch this season. And so you definitely want to get out to El Dorado up there off Montgomery Boulevard and check them out, because he's going to be an exciting one on the fast break. And he's one that could definitely possibly, make player of the year. He's a potential player of the year. I think he is. And I also think he's a guy that can definitely play at the next level. He's just got to find the right school, right level. And somebody's got to find him. You better keep an eye on him for sure. Then you have Michael Knobb at 6'6", who can shoot outside and inside. And he looks to be another very intriguing player that's going to get some points for them this season. So he's another difficult matchup problem. You have Josh Jackson, who I like, who gets the boards, puts them back in, and can give you threes. And so with that combo right there, I'm seeing a team that is going to be kind of difficult to guard. And so whoever else they bring up with them is going to make things difficult for an opponent. And they should have some challenges, especially in their district. But I see El Dorado going pretty far because Roy Sanchez is a pretty good coach, and I think he's got plenty to work with this year. So I picked him at number 4 to do some things this season. Now let's get to number 5. Number 5, I really like Las Cruces. Yeah, I'm going with them. I know they lost Isaiah Carr, who's at GCU, and William Deuce Benjamin, the player of the year, who's over at New Mexico State right now. And they're doing big things. But they bring back Caleb Carr, a big 6'9", strong forward who's smart with the ball, passes well, gets buckets, gets rebounds, and they also bring back Shug Velez, and they bring back David Cruz, who can both defend. And I've seen them defend, especially against KJ Lewis. It was impressive, let me tell you. They can defend. They can shoot outside. And they also have a few other players coming up the ranks. And I go with them because they have a winning culture. These guys don't lose, all right? They rarely ever lose. And they've been doing this for years now. Head coach William Benjamin has established a culture down there in Las Cruces that has been very solid, and it produces winning. And so I'm counting on them to come back and do it again. I'm counting on them to be there at state, definitely. And they're going to be a tough out just because of the way they're set up, the way they're disciplined. They're going to play defense, and they're going to be a solid team coming down the stretch. I see that. They might struggle a bit in the beginning, but I think they're going to be pretty solid. In fact, any one of these 5 teams could struggle just like anybody else because it's the beginning of the year. But I think they're going to be pretty solid. So I picked them at number 5, and that's Las Cruces. Now let's go with the head coach of the year for 5A, and I'm picking Greg Brown as head coach of the year because I think he's leveled up. I think he's moved up another level. He's gotten his team to play at a pace and to run his system in a very instinctive way now. They're not thinking out there. They're instinctive about it. And he's a basketball junkie. I got to tell you a story. I was at Section 7 in Phoenix in the State Farm Stadium under the roof. I had started my day at 8 a.m., and this was to catch all 5 teams, all 5 New Mexico teams playing there in Phoenix. And it went all day, and the last game didn't start till about 9, 10 o'clock at night. And let me tell you something. Head coach Greg Brown was still there, and I was like, Coach, you're still here. I mean, my back was aching, my feet were aching, and he was still there scouting, checking out things, watching other teams, and he's a junkie. He's a basketball junkie. He really is, and he really does a lot of things, and I think he's going to be really solid again this year if he repeats. And so I think he's moving up to that next level as far as the coach is concerned, as far as really getting a solid program. So definitely keep an eye on him for sure. Now let's get to our player of the year for 5A. And my pick is going to be Los Lunas Jalen Holland. Okay, Jalen Holland is a sophomore at 6'4", who's just athletic, big body already, big strong body, and that's what you need to be player of the year. Really, is to be a big strong body and then have the skills. inside, outside, however you want it, throws it down. I mean, I've been saying that about all the good players, but it's true. Very good defender. He's going to be a really exciting player to watch this season. He's only a sophomore right now, and it's going to be his show, really. And we need to keep we need to just watch and enjoy this ride, just like we did with, William Deuce Benjamin, Jaquan Hill, and Isaiah Carr, and Jose Murillo. This is another ride to watch and enjoy. Follow his career for sure, because he's already got offers from New Mexico State, and I believe UNM, and Southern Utah. So he's already getting looked at by the D1 schools. So definitely check him out this season if you can. If you can get to a Los Lunas game, check him out, because he's definitely, in my opinion, the front runner for player of the year. So we go with all of those. We got all our picks in. We got our 4A and our 5A in a fast and furious mode, player of the year and also head coach. Now with 5A, there's a few other teams that could come in there and do some really solid things. And that's Alamogordo with Devian Smith, Kai Bickham, and Deontay Byron, and we'll see how they do. They lost a lot. They lost Tristan Drake to the Preps, but I think they're going to be a solid team, and they could come in there. You have Sandia with Eli Lovato and Andrew Hill. They're going to be another really solid team that could come in there. Oregon Mountain with Brandon Keyrez and Lenny Washington. Another solid team. Farmington with Cody Vasserstein. You got several teams that could be very solid. La Cueva lost a lot this year, but I think they still are very strong with Cedarius Yates and JoJo Goliford, and then they also have Isaiah Denaclaw. So that's another team that could definitely compete. And so these are teams that are good enough to knock off the top 5 for sure and replace them. That's no doubt about it. It's very even across about 10 teams. I think they're very even. You have some good coaches that are definitely starting up this year. Casey Roberts at Mayfield. Really excited for him and Mayfield and seeing what they're going to do this season. You have Gabe Martinez, who came over from Espanola Valley. He's going to take over the helm at Cibola. So we'll see how the Cougars do, and maybe my band will be over there at Cibola. We'll never, who knows? We'll find out. So, and then you also have Steve Heredia at Trisco, who I picked number 2. So you got some coaches that are entering their first or second years, and so it's going to be really exciting to see these programs with this turnover into a new generation of head coaches. Now that we've had a few that are retired, so all those are covered. We've covered all of that. Stay tuned for my next take. We're going to do the top 5 players, my top 5, okay? This one gets everybody excited, mad, angry, joyful, who knows? It's full of emotions for a lot of people, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to give you my top 5 in my second take, so stay tuned for that. All right, now for my second take, we're going to go over the top 5 players in New Mexico, my top 5 players. So this is going to be exciting. This is going to be fun. So we're going to get right on into it. At number 1, Los Lunas, Jalen Holland. Yes, Jalen Holland. I really like him, like I said before, as the 5A Player of the Year pick. He's a really, really nice player to watch. He's really developed from his 8th grade year on varsity there at Los Lunas. And he's going to be a very difficult matchup for a lot of people. I expect him to really have a big year, 20-plus points a game, probably. Might even average double figures in rebounds. So we'll see what happens there with him as far as this year is going to go. But we're going to see a lot of breakaway dunks with Jalen Holland. We're going to see 3-pointers. We're going to see a lot to his game. And so we're going to probably see some more offers coming his way as far as a D1 college basketball offers. So I'm really excited to see what Jalen does this year. So definitely a number 1 player, in my opinion. Okay, so he's at number 1. So let's get down to number 2. Damian Perez of Carlsbad. Damian Perez is another exciting player. I've seen him shoot from way downtown, very quick release. He's one of those guys that can just find his shot, has no problem doing it. He gets up real easy, and he's another one that's going to be a breakaway dunker for sure. He's going to be really exciting. I think Eastern's excited about him too. I think Eastern New Mexico is one that's going to been looking at him for sure. And I think a lot of other teams have been looking at him for quite a while now as far as college is concerned. So he just has to have a big year. But he's definitely got all the skills. Very good ball handling wise. He can handle a team as a point guard. And so that's really exciting. And it's funny, the first time I heard about him, somebody said, "Hey, coach, Carlsbad has a 6'5" point guard." I'm like, yeah, right. Okay. I got to check this out. And definitely they do. And so it was really exciting to see what he could do. And, we're going to definitely, watch him this season. Don't miss him at all. Now let's get on to number 3. Number 3, Del Norte's Shane Doma Sanchez. Okay. Shane has been wonderful since he's entered the Knights program as a freshman. He was all district as a freshman, so he was very impressive when he was playing with Malik Barton and that crew when he was just starting out. So he was really exciting then, and he's gotten way better since then. And he's come back from an injury that could have been career-ending, but he's just been gangbusters, and it's just so impressive, his work ethic and how he's come back from that and what he's doing now. He's looked really, really good this summer, and he's showing a lot of skill that's next level. And he's another one that I think college coaches should definitely take a look at because he can do a lot of things. He's really well at ball handling, gets out of tight spots, is never really is an indecisive person. He finds a way to make the right play, and that's really exciting about him. And so I think we're going to see a lot of that this season. We're going to see a lot of threes. We're going to see 25 plus points a game, and we're going to see a lot of heart because that's one thing that he's definitely displayed throughout his high school career. And so he's going to enter his senior season, so it's going to be a big one. So that's really exciting to see. I got high hopes for him, and I'm rooting for him because I think he's a really good player. Now let's get to number 4, Cleveland's Daniel Steverson. Daniel, every time I see him, he just keeps getting better and better and better. He's about 6'2", and real tough, aggressive, has a really nice outside shot. He gets to the hole. He's shown a pull-up jumper this summer, and that was really exciting to see. And he's just grown and matured as he's gone through high school, and I believe he's entering his junior season. So it's going to be another big year for him, and next year we'll be definitely talking about him a lot. This season is going to be a big one, though, and I think this is going to be the season that catapults him into a very exciting summer for him. And he's going to be a key catalyst for Cleveland. One thing I think that's going to happen for him is that he's definitely going to really, really start getting noticed towards the end of the season. And who knows, with one big, playoff tournament performance or something like that, kind of like what Jose Murillo in the state tournament last season, we could definitely see Daniel Steverson do something like that and have a really big, blow up for the summer, and then college coaches start coming his way. So it's really exciting to see that. Now let's go with number 5. Number 5, I pick Deming's Alex Alfaro. Alex, I started to find out about him in the summer. Alex is one of those names you just really haven't heard too much about, but he's 6'4", and like I said earlier in the 4A picks, he averaged double figures in 5A, and I saw him in person, and he was really nice with step-back threes. He showed a pull-up jumper. He really gets to the hole really easy, really aggressive. He's already got a strong body, throws it down, and he's one of those guys that seems to really go after it and work on his game. And it was really exciting to see. He really stood out at the West Coast Elite New Mexico Exposure Camp. And that's one thing that really made a difference for him in my eyes. And so I was thinking, wow, this guy is going to really have a big senior season. And I think he's a little bit under the radar, but not too much longer. I think college coaches, you got to take a look at him. Definitely on the D2 level, D3, NAIA, JUCO. All you guys got to start taking a look at him. I think he could possibly walk on D1. Maybe even get a D1 scholarship somewhere, low major or something like that, because he's definitely got the skills to do something like that. And he's going to be one that is going to be a fan favorite in southern New Mexico. So with that, that's my top 5 players. Los Lunas, Jalen Holland at number 1. And then we have at number 2, we have, let me catch my breath. It's been exciting. Number 2, we have Carlsbad's Damian Perez. Number 3, we have Del Norte's Shane Doma Sanchez. Number 4 is Cleveland's Daniel Steverson. And number 5, Deming's Alex Alfaro. Now, there's also plenty of other players that could get in there, but there's a few questions that I had and things like that. And this thing could change at the end of the season. It just depends on how they do throughout the season. And I'll have a top 10 at the end of the season. So, hey, there's still plenty of time to show your game, show your skills, and do your thing. So that's all you got to do is just go out there, play, keep improving, keep working on your game, and you can get in that top 5, in that top 10. That's all I'm saying, a little bit of motivation. And so with that, I think we had a great show. There's a few things I wanted to cover, things on my heart that I wanted to cover, besides all of this. And I want you all to remember the class of 21 that went through the thing. I still call it the thing, and I'll probably always call it the thing. But they lost a lot. They lost their proms. They lost an all-star game. They lost a lot of things. They were not able to spend that senior season and senior year and have those moments with their classmates who they've grown up with. And so I want you to think about them, do something nice for them, okay? Because it was really tough, and it's kind of really frustrating that they seem to have been forgotten. And this jersey behind me represents, that class and those all-stars and what happened that season and that school year. And so I want you to think about them, do something nice for them. It's been on my mind. It's bugged me what has happened to all of us here in New Mexico, because we've got people leaving the city. We got people leaving the state. These trends can't continue. And we've got a lot of dangerous stuff going on out there. Fentanyl is just running the place, and it's looking like candy right now. And so we got to definitely protect each other and look out for each other. And we got to try to fix things. We got to try to go into a right direction. And hopefully that happens. We got a new team now. We got a new governor, same governor. We got basically the same people. So hopefully they come up with a better strategy than the one before, because I personally don't think it was very good. Hopefully they can come up with a new strategy or something like that. And I'm asking you to hold them accountable every step of the way so that we can have a better state. That's all I'm asking for. And so with all of that, I just leave it at that. And stay safe out there. We're going to have a great season. The first games are going to start on the 22nd of November. And APS games, I believe, are going to start at 7:30. Rio Rancho at 7. I believe Las Cruces schools are going to start at 7 on weekdays. And now we're going to have games on Saturdays at 2 p.m. So check the schedules at Max Preps and at nmaa.org, I believe it is, or .act. Just go ahead and look it up. Google it. You'll find it. And just check all those schedules and check out which teams you want to see, because they definitely need your support and things of that nature. And we got to support our players, our student athletes. We got to support our high schoolers. We got to support our schools. And so we got to get out there and definitely support them. Here's to a great season. I thank you all for watching, and I thank you for playing. And hopefully this will be another great season. We will have no problems. and you have a good night.